It all leads back to the diamond as the quest to save John leads to an expected and pointless battle with Alicia and company and the final revelation of the fate of Maddie. And once we heard exactly what happened, that just made me wonder what the hell was going on with this family all season. Really makes no sense. It's the mid-season finale of Fear the Walking Dead. Season 4, Episode 8. No one's gone. Until they're gone. Hey everyone, D here, and welcome to this week's review, our final review here, of Fear the Walking Dead. So yes, of course, spoilers probably coming up. Alright, so, this is it. It's the end of our first half of the season, and I was rather frustrated with this whole episode. I was bored. I really wanted to fast forward. I just wanted to figure out what happened with Maddie and kind of get it glossed over, because really a lot of this episode just made no sense, to be perfectly honest. Now, it opened up well, I thought. That first shot, that first sequence with a very rattled Maddie sneaking up on the person by the campfire and sneaking through the anti-walker little traps and things like that. All very cool. Definitely in a form of desperation. I mean, a tone, I thought, was set well in this opening sequence. Especially once we see that it's Al that she's speaking with. What it did well is make us wonder, at least for a short little while, of where we were in time. Is this a long time ago? Is this post-Diamond before Al ran into everybody else? Is this afterwards? Has everybody been separated and now Al runs into Maddie? Is she still alive? So the setup of it was kind of interesting. And we're seeing Maddie definitely in a much more desperate state of mind than we have seen her before. Reminds a lot of old Maddie, which of course was kind of part of the hint that we had. And then again, and from there we get sort of, again, the couple of layers that we get with this episode. We of course get all of the backstory and what's going on with Maddie as we're seeing what's happening with the group now, plus then we get the whole final scene there. So kind of like a three-part of this episode all meshed together. And the interview part with Maddie, I don't know. Initially, I got kind of annoyed. Okay, so Maddie is trying to steal Al's truck, trying to get information. That sort of makes sense. I don't buy Maddie taking out Al in a heartbeat. I mean, Al's doing the cool, I got the stuff behind my back and I'm sneaking out here and I've been zip-tied before, I know how to get out. I mean, again, Al's demonstrating a certain level of badassery. So why Maddie is able to, with one sweep of the leg, take her out and knock her out, I didn't buy it at all. That immediately pulled me out of it. I was like, what the hell's happening here? And then Maddie just taking the tapes and the recorder. It was, look, I understand that you want to go through that to see if you're going to get any information. But if she's tied up, or you can tie her up again, just watch her right there. She has the resources. She didn't take any of Al's resources. Obviously didn't take the truck. Didn't even look like she took fuel from what we could see. But, I mean, it's hard to tell how that all sort of balanced out supply-wise. But it felt off to me. And then, of course, we get the whole kind of story there and evolution. I mean, there were some good parts in with that. I liked hearing that Al has been a journalist since even before the whole Walker thing, Walker apocalypse began. That's good to know. I liked her story about the tribe that in the far corner of the world and how truth was important, how this guy was basically using the lack of truth, hoping that the story wouldn't come out, that he didn't have this big army and all these resources and people, and that lack of truth out there allowed the village to be kept under his thumb. And once they learned the truth, they were able to rise up. He couldn't hide behind those lies anymore. So, I mean, from a philosophical standpoint, explaining why she does what she does, that was a good little insight in Althea. But everything else just, I was bored. I didn't care. We were getting a lot of non-specifics, so we couldn't really figure out where we were in time until it kind of went on and we lost outside of El Paso. So we're like, okay, this is obviously all happening before the diamond. Okay, so we're seeing this, and obviously we're not getting any specifics because this would explain why Al didn't know anything about the kids or their story. Nothing seemed recognizable. It's a move that allows everything to make sense. But from a standpoint of interview, or even from Maddie's standpoint, why are you hiding all this? Why is this so lack of specifics? I thought it just sort of got frustrated. Now, as we see, the whole point of this little thing is Althea's impression that she made on Maddie. Al helped Maddie when she didn't have to. So when Maddie does finally go out and find the kids and she's already seen the diamond, she can lead up and have that big story of, hey, somebody helped me when they didn't need to, so this is what we're going to do. This is going to be the new world. This is the safety, what it is that we're looking for the kids. So some interesting ideas, but again, just it felt a little force-fed. Especially with the ramen. That really annoyed me. And I'll tell you why, because that's what I do here. So I'm going to get to the ramen thing, but let's lead through all of the now storylines until we get to that point, because each of these, there are many elements going up to that are more annoying than the last, and kind of just gets to this level of frustration for me. So, all right. So we're in the diamond. The truck is surrounded, completely by walkers. Got to get into the infirmary. Okay. I liked Al giving Charlie the camera. Continue to shoot no matter what happens. She's a journalist, as we find out, gives Charlie something to do. Okay, I'm fine with that. To get out of the car, to get out of the truck, they've got to clear a path. So they're going to use Al's guns. Okay, we've seen them used against walkers before. I'm kind of all right about it. But the one thing that bothered me a little bit then, and certainly bothers me a lot now, is that to take out a walker, you got to shoot them in the head. Shooting them in the body doesn't do anything. If you lay down suppression fire, you're shooting everywhere. Which means you may be knocking out legs, you may be knocking out arms, but that doesn't mean that you're necessarily killing the walkers. So when you lay them all out, even if you take out legs, you're still going to have crawling, snapping, grabbing, biting walkers. Which we don't really see. We have the open of the gunfire and all of them are dead. It's a little unbelievable to me. But okay. The tripwire, on the other hand, Naomi and Morgan should be dead. Out of commission, at least, possibly with shards of shrapnel in them, maybe not being able to hear. Why? What? Huh? And why didn't the walkers have set them out as they were just wandering around the park? Okay, maybe they didn't have a reason to go in through that door or whatever, but still. There's obviously been walkers wandering around inside for quite some time. At some point, you would think they would have just tripped the tripwire there. So that was frustrating. And then we had the whole attack by Alicia and company. And to me, it's pointless. Your whole goal was to kill the vultures. You took care of that last week. Why are you still chasing down Naomi? Now, there seems to be some blame that Naomi is behind it. So it's just obsession? Is that it? And Charlie, okay, I can kind of get the Charlie thing of killing Nick there. But again, it seems too much. They're using so much ammo. They're wasting so much time for this small bit of obsession. It was annoying. And then the rocket launcher. They used an RPG. Okay, great response from Al about this being this is ballistic armor and it's layered in there and it's a tank inside of a tank inside of a bank vault. Then, of course, for comic purposes, that's when the door sort of falls off. Ha ha ha, Alicia there. All right, ready to go. Where are the walkers? Alicia didn't seem in a hurry. She wasn't jumping in. It wasn't like that blew the walkers and they were coming back. And also, kind of like the machine gun, explosions work with pressure waves to destroy internal organs and damage and things like that. It kills people that way. Walkers are already dead. Trauma doesn't mean anything to them. Again, you might lose a limb, even there might be some movement back, but they're still going to come right back in. And in fact, after Alicia gets in there and she's doing the big fight with Naomi, we have, well, if you watch CinemaSins, this would work perfectly. Convenient walkers are convenient. Now they're able to rush up and be right there as Alicia is holding Naomi's, Al's head. My mistake, Naomi's inside, this is Al. Over the walkers, making it all scary, so they're grabbing. Not close enough to actually do any damage, just to sort of grab and pull and do all those things. It was just, again, it starts to be annoying. You're using so much ammo, using so much time, you're doing explosions, you're doing activities that shouldn't affect walkers. It would be more interesting to see this attempt to do that and have it not hit the walkers. Because now it's just convenient use in order so we can get some of these conflicts going. Even when we had the whole gun down where Alicia's got Charlie all ring up before then, so holding Charlie, okay, you're going to call him and you're going to tell him to come out here. Look, Naomi, we haven't figured out why. When we figured out why she was mad, that made me even more mad. But Charlie, she knows, definitely shot Nick. Why isn't she taking care of Charlie? Maybe she plans to, but it's just using her for the moment in order for Al to call in Naomi and to get her out there. But still, at points, it's like I don't understand the obsession. I don't understand the anger. And when it gets really to that revelation moment where we see the ramen come down, where did you get this? And we finally get this whole story and we get the whole kind of connection. I'm like, she's had the ramen for how long? I mean, really, if we're looking at Maddie's encounter with Al, and Al gave her fuel, and Al gave her food, and so when Maddie first shows up to Alicia and company and everybody, and they see the ramen, yes, of course, you're going to remember this. Oh, my mom was missing, and the first thing she came out was food, and we had this ramen, this cup of noodle. Al still has that in the truck. It's been over a year. They were in the diamond for a year plus. Additionally, how much time they have been wandering around in their whole revenge ticket going against the vultures. And you're telling me that Al still has some of that ramen inside of her truck? With all that time, all that food, all the trading that she has done? Also, that this ramen is so unique that you can't find it anywhere else, that it automatically just brings up that connection. I mean, is she that's sitting and the interviews and stuff, and then maybe some of that might have kind of linked in, like, oh my God, this could possibly be the person that connected to, but it was such a stretch for me to believe that Al still had the same ramen that she's had for 15, 16, 17 months, sitting in the back of her truck. Sure, it doesn't go bad, but how much does she have? And she trades so much. I didn't believe it. I didn't. All right, now that, of course, leads to our Scene of the Week for this week. And I know what you're thinking, Darren, if you hated the episode so much, how could you have a Scene of the Week? Well, there were still moments here and there. And I have to say, the one that stuck with me that I thought that was particularly strong was the face-off between Alicia and Morgan. In some ways, it is really cheesy. But I thought it was really handled well, and in many ways it wraps up a lot of it, makes this great link for Morgan. It's an emotional reach out for Alicia. I mean, how Morgan is talking about, I tried to avoid people, and someone told me that I was always going to be around people, and I didn't believe him, so I ran. See, Rick is even making impacts all the way onto this show. How can you not love that? But that whole idea of change and what your mom wanted, what she saw in you, and that's still within you, and I can see that. It was a great revelation. It was a great moment for Morgan to sort of reveal that sense of self, putting himself in front of a bullet, willing to die for someone that he just met, because it is the way that things are supposed to be. It is such a reminder for what it was that Maddie was trying to do. And Alicia Debnam Carey did a great job, I thought, of following that emotion, of being so sure and getting caught up. I mean, she's already seen the images with her mom, which has sort of brought up a lot of this stuff to her. And now that Morgan is saying lines very much along the same line, really reaching out and making that connection. I just thought it was a short sequence, but I thought it was handled really well. It wasn't overly done, and it shows where the real strength of this show comes from when they do it right. And that is those small, quiet, emotional moments between one or two characters where you can really have that bond, that really, again, that opening up of the heart. I think that's when the show does, that's something the show does very well. Their weaknesses is when they're trying to throw in so many multiple storylines and trying to get from A to B and just getting right there without it making sense, which is kind of the whole thing with the whole Maddie story. So yeah, after everybody's got their little peace bit and we go out and we save John and he's going to be still alive, so let's kick around the campfire and I'll share a cup of ramen and tell the story of what happened with Maddie. Which really did it for me with this episode. Look, I know some people may think some people are of the opinion, and I'm not saying anybody is wrong, I'm different. The slow motion shots, the way that they told the story in just sort of flashing images, kind of slowing down, kind of just little bits and pieces, might have been intriguing. I've certainly seen it done well. I mean, there was an interesting kind of idea to it, but considering how much effort was done with the whole build-up and our whole final sequence and the whole sort of battle and stuff, to me, I felt let down. I felt like I was denied really seeing how this all laid out, that they were able to cover up a lot of stuff with just showing little flashes and sequences. I mean, okay, from what I can get from what they tell of the story is, of course, we last saw as the gate opens up and Maddie is staring out over the flames as they want to go out and rescue the kids. All right, well, first off, again, there's fuel in the truck. It's on. They just drove it up there. Why did they wait for the walkers to get around? Why didn't they just drive up to the front? But no, we got to have Strand and Luciana and Maddie go out and fight and over the thing. Nobody in the truck's doing anything. They're not even trying to drive. They're not like clearing out the path so they can pull up. Now, I guess the whole thing sort of falls apart is because everybody else that was inside didn't believe in any of the structure, didn't believe in the walls, and opened up the gate and drove out. And I guess wasn't able to get around the walkers and got caught up, and they all died. And that allowed the walkers to come in, of course, walking through the flames and fires and being scary and doing all of that. But then we get to our whole kind of breakdown bit. And again, this is where things sort of fell apart. They started getting a little mishmashy because, okay, they fight their way up to the truck, and then they open up the doors, and Nick and Alicia get out, but they leave Charlie and Mel in there so that Mel then takes the truck and drives away, who apparently is able to get through, but they couldn't get to the gate, but then they couldn't get back to the truck. I mean, that's where things kind of got a little funky, because Mel was in the truck with Charlie, and they seem to have taken, that was the Rover, they drove that away. What? Were they just left inside of there? Again, I don't get it. Okay, and then it gets overrun. It's too much so that it gets overrun. Where do Strand and company, where do they go? Okay, because we have Maddie, you know, pipering everybody with the flare, taking all the walkers in, guiding them out. I mean, that's kind of cool. Again, kind of an interesting moment. But if they were so overrun, where did everybody else go? And okay, so she leads them in. There's no other way out from inside the diamond. I mean, they kept saying how secure the walls were, but there's no other path out. I mean, even when she got pushed up against the fence, she closed the door behind her and the walkers were all coming in. She's got a chain link fence behind her. Climb it, climb it, climb it. I'll be right there. Throw the radio down, stick it in your pocket, something. Then you can toss the flare from up there and set them all on fire. Self-immolation is a very painful way to go. And yes, technically we didn't see her body, but I think, considering everything was done, why she should have had the radio, if she was able to escape, she should have been able to call, any of that stuff, I think we can all just assume that Maddie is dead at this point. But everything about that was frustrating, and I think because it was told in these short little slow motion snippet images of just here and people running and faces, to me that contributed to more of the confusion of what was going on. And then Naomi. All this time, this past couple episodes, Alicia has been mad at Naomi. We even said when she encounters her, when Morgan kind of gets in the way, it's your fault that my mom is dead. Then we get this story. And Naomi didn't do crap. She was trying to help. She was trying to fight. They all got separated. She thought the kids were dead. The kids thought she was dead. So she ran off. She did what she could to save herself. Even Strand admits that. You did what you had to do in order to survive. Nothing Naomi did led to Maddie's death. None of it. Why is she so obsessed? Again, Charlie I can understand. Charlie shot Nick. Why? I don't know. Is it because killed, was it Enos, Mel's brother? Okay, we're reacting off of this. But she also knows that Mel sent the walkers in and Nick had tried to save Mel and Charlie there. So if she's to such a strong connection with Mel, why would she blame Nick for that? Again, it's just... I got more confused, I got more angry as these revelations went on. Especially as we get to the end and we have the whole nice story from Maddie. She's saying goodbye and they're like, yes, she died so that we could survive, so that we could live, so that we could find the right thing. It's all heartwarming and motivating and building of such great warmth inside the being. And that lasted for what? Like an hour, maybe a day, maybe a couple of days before they decided, nah, let's just go on this giant murder spree against the vultures. Blame them for everything. Maddie's sacrifice seemed to be completely pointless then, especially since it led to Nick's death. So, that's what got me. Is because they ended on such a big moment, like they understand what she did and she was leaving so that they could save them. Even Maddie's saying, you know, it wasn't about the diamond, it was about what this could be, and I want you to hold that on. And again, it leaves with a supposedly great feeling that immediately afterwards they toss aside to go off on this mass murder spree going after the vultures. Again, I can understand them being upset because they caused Maddie's death, but that whole revelation story loses all of its emotional impact at that point. That story is told for the now, not the then. And that was really frustrating. Plus, like I said, sitting around having ramen, and what the hell was up with that stupid-ass song at the end? What is this, the 70s? In the middle of a tragic moment, you're going to have all the happy music going on? Alright, just one small thing to add on here. I did like John's little eulogy to the camera, a little goodbye note for Laura / Naomi / well, June, I guess, is her actual name. She's got a lot of names. Are we sure that it's June? Let's hope, let's assume. She said that that's her actual name. We'll go with that. But I just thought that was kind of a nice thing. It makes sense for somebody who thinks that they are dying to have a camera there, and Charlie was told to film everything. That seemed an appropriate move for John to do. So, just sweet, and I gotta say, I love that they found each other. I'm, of course, super stoked that John is alive. I'd be really, really even more mad than I am mad now if he had died. And now we got a couple going forward. Which, of course, means someone's gonna die, right? That's always how it works. Alright, well, that's pretty much gonna wrap us up. With one small note, Alicia is the last surviving member of the Clark family. That's right. It's kind of like Alicia's show now. Yes, her and Strand, they're both from season 1, but this all started with the Clark Manoa family. Everybody else is dead. Mom's dead, brother's dead, stepfather's dead, stepbrother's dead. Well, it wasn't a stepmom, but no, that would be an ex. Anyway, everybody's dead at this point. It's just her. At least Strand is around. He's a good character, but there's a lot of people leaving this show. I mean, Nick wanted to leave. I'm not sure if Kim Dickens wanted to leave or was they just wrote her out. But so that's 2 down this season on Fear the Walking Dead. Next season, Walking Dead's losing Rick and I think Lauren Cohen. Looks like she's only listed for 6 episodes, also same as Andrew Lincoln. So not a big change to the guard. I'm not sure how people feel confident about this show, but That's it. We're done. Hey, next half of the season looks like we're going to have Walker-nados. Let's just say goodbye for now, huh? Let's just do that. Thank you so much for enduring my rant. Really appreciate it. If you like the rant, please go ahead and hit that like button. Thoughts, ideas, and comments. Let me know what you guys think. Throw those down in the section below. You can always catch me on Twitter and Instagram. I am at Darren Jakes. Please subscribe if you're not. I know we're done here, but we got 2 more episodes of Westworld, plus Preacher starts in 2 weeks on June 24th. Don't want to miss that. You want to be a subscriber? Do it by clicking this button right here. And we'll throw up a couple of our latest reviews right here, and you can check those out. So, thank you so much. I'm D, and I'm out of here. Catch you guys next time. Bye-bye.